Do you ever push your hair way too long without washing it and neglect it? Or maybe there's something going on with your curls that you can't quite pinpoint and you're in need of a reset? Well, today I'm going to show you the ultimate wash day routine for when your curls need to snap back and when you need a good reset. And I wanted to give a special thanks to Q-Redew for partnering with me for today's video. I'm going to be showing you how to use their hair steamer device and their deep moisture mask. I'm going to be showing you how you can use steam to detoxify your scalp, amp up your deep conditioning treatments, and even refresh your curls. I'm also going to show you the results of this mask without any styling products in my hair. I'm actually product free right now with the exception of a leave-in conditioner. So we'll be talking in this video about why you might want to go product free and how to go about doing that if you want to just give your curls a break. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Gina and here we make videos all about naturally curly hair. I love doing simplified step-by-step tutorials, talking about product ingredients, hair science, and really helping you problem solve. That way everyone can achieve healthier hair. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. So let's go ahead and get started with the hair reset routine. So I was on like day 6 or 7 hair and it was looking pretty rough. Definitely time for a wash. I had had my hair up in a bun, so it was definitely very stretched out and very dried out. I like to start off with a pre-poo oil and dry detangling. This just helps to prevent breakage and it also can help reduce the harshness of a clarifying shampoo. So if your hair is very matted and tangled, you don't want to go right in with the shampoo, especially a clarifying shampoo, because that's just going to make it worse. So I like to use a little bit of an oil and then use my fingers to gently separate any knots and remove any loose hairs. I experience so much less shedding and breakage when I do this. I know not everyone can dry detangle. If you have a much tighter curl pattern than me, it's probably not possible. But if you have a curl pattern that is a little bit looser like mine, then definitely give it a try. Our hair is actually weakest when it's wet, so it's much better to detangle your hair dry. You just have to make sure you have an oil and you don't want to cause any snapping or anything like that. So having that oil helps give you a little bit of slip, and you have to be very careful when you're doing this. If you are struggling with a lot of damage in your hair, then you'll definitely want to try out using a pre-poo oil before your shampoo or your clarifying shampoo. Even if you don't want to dry detangle, at least apply a little bit of oil, because that can actually help to fill in the gaps in your hair's cuticle to prevent excessive cuticle chipping when you are shampooing and protein loss from the hair, which leads to even more damage. So this can really help. I also like to smooth a little bit of oil around the hairline because I always tend to get a lot of breakage in this area. So now for the fun part, let's get the Q-Redew device going. I wanted to show you how you fill up the little water reservoir. So the little green area that has the logo on it is the water reservoir. This comes off and then there's a little hole that you fill up with water. You'll want to fill this up with distilled water. I usually have these jugs because I use like a humidifier too in my room. So you definitely want to make sure you use distilled water, because if you use regular tap water, there might be minerals like in hard water that can build up in the device and cause it to not work properly. I have heard of that happening with the Q-Redew device, so just make sure that you use distilled water because there's no mineral deposits in that. So you just pop the compartment back in and you let it heat up. Once it's fully heated up, the red light will stop blinking and it will just remain on. So once it's ready to go and you press the trigger button on it, that will emit the steam. You don't want to go right in and shampoo right after you do a pre-poo oil, unless if you just use a little amount, because sometimes it can be a little bit hard to shampoo your hair, so you do want to give it time to really soak in. So I'm actually going to try out the Q-Redew Steamer for my scalp to help loosen up any buildup. I heard that it's really great for detoxifying the scalp and just helping kind of loosen up any buildup with the steam. So it's already heated up, and when you press the button, it emits steam. It feels pretty hot, like right against the prong, so I will probably do it at a distance like this. And the steam emits when you press this button right here. So it feels really nice. My hair is not wet, it does have some oil in it. And I'm just going to hold it at a distance and target it right at my scalp. And you can get closer depending on how comfortable you are with the warm steam. Just kind of start at a distance. I love how this isn't soaking my hair, so it would be really great for refreshing. It's just sort of getting it a little bit damp, like not even damp like a spray mister, but it just feels a little bit warm and a little bit wet. Also, it did say to make sure you hold it in the upright position, so I just need to make sure that I keep it more upright instead of pointing it down. So I've been struggling with the most buildup like in this area. Even after I shampoo, sometimes I can still feel it like right here. So I'm gonna make sure to really hit that area with the steam. So another thing you can do if you need to like loosen up any of the dead skin cells or buildup is just sort of massage with your fingers. And you wanna make sure you use the pads of your fingers and not your nails because you don't want to create any little scratches in your scalp. You wanna be very gentle. You can also use like a comb to do this or a hair pick or even like a scalp massager. Sometimes I will take a scalp massager and do that just to kind of loosen that up, and then it makes it easier when you shampoo. Really great for stimulating blood flow too, and that steam also helps to stimulate blood flow. Our scalp needs that blood flow to help with hair growth. So I'm going to go ahead and wash my hair. I'm going to do a clarifying shampoo, and I'll probably use like a conditioner or like a primer beforehand. Even though I do have that pre-poo oil in my hair, I do still like to do a little bit more detangling once my hair is wet with conditioner, just because it can get knotted again once I wet it. So sometimes I use just a little bit of my conditioner first, and then I will do a clarifying wash and make sure to really scrub down at my scalp. And I'll put all the products that I'm using today listed in the description box down below. So now that my hair is squeaky clean, I'm going to do a deep conditioning treatment. I'm also heating back up the Q-Redew. The nice thing about it is the steam does not come out unless you press this. So if you want to just set this down while you're doing other things for a second, you can. It's not like producing steam constantly. So I just wrapped my hair up in a hair towel, and I'm going to take it down and apply the deep conditioner. So I'm gonna be using this one from Q-Redew. This is their Deep Moisture Mask Conditioning Treatment for Hair and Scalp. This is designed to also help with your scalp. It contains squalane and aloe vera. This is also designed to help with scalp health because it's anti-inflammatory and antibacterial. So the texture of this is like a whip texture. It's a little bit thinner than some deep conditioners, which is good. So I'm just gonna apply about that much all over, and then I will comb it through. It smells really nice and fresh, but it's not too overpowering. So I really like to first towel dry my hair and then apply my deep conditioner, and that just helps to where my scalp doesn't have water dripping down, like I'm not making a mess when I'm applying my deep conditioner. Sometimes I will apply it in the shower and just let it sit for a few minutes, but if I want to do more of like a long deep conditioning treatment or incorporate something like steam or heat, I will wrap it up first. That way it's not dripping all over the place and I can just apply my deep conditioner. So some people don't like to apply their deep conditioner all the way up to their scalp, but since this one is designed to help the scalp, I'm not worried about that. So I am combing it through, and I'm making sure to evenly coat my entire hair with it. The hair up there does still need moisture. We don't want to neglect the hair at the root altogether, because then it can become dry and even result in more root frizz if you're not properly moisturizing your roots. So now that I've got the deep conditioner in, I'm going to go in with the steamer. So I'm just going to press the nozzle until it emits the steam, and you can hear it does make a little bit of a noise. That's just the pump running. Feels super warm and nice. So the steam is going to help to raise the cuticle of your hair, which helps increase absorption. So if you struggle with your hair getting moisturized, then you'll definitely want to incorporate some type of heat when you're deep conditioning. This is nice though because it's just warm steam. It's not too hot, so we're not going to cause any damage to the hair, but it is going to increase that deep conditioner's absorption. And I'm already seeing that the deep conditioner is soaking in. So if you'll notice, at first it looked very white on the hair, and then when I go to apply the steam, you can see it's definitely soaking into the hair, which is what we want to get it fully moisturized. If you are somebody that has low porosity hair, that means that the cuticle of your hair is very tightly bound, so it sits very flat. Your hair is probably very shiny, which is healthy and great, but sometimes it can be hard to get moisture to absorb. And a lot of people struggle with their hair getting dry or feeling brittle with low porosity hair, or the products tend to just sit on the surface. So having something that is heated like steam can really help to increase the absorption of your product, specifically for low porosity hair. So my hair is actually more high porosity. It's like a normal to high porosity now that it's gotten healthier, but I can still use heat and stuff to increase absorption even more, but it's not required with your deep conditioner. So I'm also gonna make sure to get the scalp just to help with that blood flow to the scalp. You can also use the prongs to help get into the inner layers of your hair, which is really helpful if you have very thick hair, to help get that steam really down in there to all of those layers. So I'm surprised at how long that the water lasted in this reservoir. It's pretty small, so I thought at first that I was gonna run out, but it looks like it's just now starting to get low and I'm done steaming my hair. So I did both my scalp before I shampooed and then just now with the deep conditioner, and that was enough water in there for one use, which was great. I didn't have to stop and fill it up again. So this part is totally optional, but if you do want to pop on a plastic cap, I would just put your hair up in a clip and then you can let the deep conditioner set even longer. So this one says to leave on for about 10 to 20 minutes before rinsing it out. So if you only steam for like 5 minutes, then I would leave this on for another 5 to 10 minutes before actually going to rinse it out. As I mentioned, this contains plant source squalane and aloe vera, which are really great hydrating ingredients. So they're going to help to actually bring that moisture into your hair and help just deeply condition the hair as well, because it does contain other conditioning ingredients in here, lots of nice oils and butters. There's olive oil, avocado oil, shea butter, argan kernel oil, and lots of other great natural ingredients. So really excited to test this out. I'm not going to be using styling products today, which will be a good test to see really how this works on my hair, and you can actually see the effects of a deep conditioner if you just let your hair air dry product free. So we'll definitely get to see how that performs on the hair. So overall, I really enjoyed using the steamer. I definitely think it made a difference with the absorption of my deep conditioner. Since I have high porosity hair, I never really thought that I needed to incorporate heat very often in my deep conditioning treatments, but I really noticed that it did absorb a lot better with the heat. Like as I was running my hands through my hair, the deep conditioner wasn't just coming off on my hands, like it felt like it actually absorbed, which is something that I haven't really felt before. So now that this is set for about 10 minutes, I'm gonna take my hair down, and I can still even feel a little bit of warmth in my hair with that cap on, which is nice from that steam. So now I'm gonna go ahead and rinse this out. You can rinse with cool water, although I've heard that cool water doesn't exactly seal the cuticle, but it does leave a little bit of conditioner left behind, because warm water is going to actually fully rinse out all of the oils and stuff, whereas if you use cool water, you're leaving a little bit behind, so it sort of feels like it's conditioned your hair a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and rinse this out. So I just rinsed out the deep conditioner upside down, and then I ran my fingers through my hair. And one thing that I recommend doing, instead of like wringing out your hair, just scrunch it up to release that excess water, and then sort of run your fingers through. That way your hair doesn't get just stuck to your scalp. You'll want to run your fingers through and then just scrunch up, and then your curls will start to become defined like this. So I usually do that whenever I'm not going to be styling my hair and I do want those curls to start to form right away, instead of them remaining kind of stretched out and stuck to the head, like if I were to just wrap my hair right after rinsing out the deep conditioner. So I'm just plopping my hair, and if you're not familiar with what a plop is, I can link you to a video where I show you actually how to tie this. But this helps to just sort of press the curls up against your hair and absorb that excess water, and that really helps the curls start to form, which is something that you might want to do if you're not going to be styling. So I'll probably let this sit for like 5 to 10 minutes just to let it sort of absorb that excess water at the scalp, and then I'll take it down, and I think I'm just going to use a leave-in conditioner and then not apply any stylers. So now I'm just going to take my hair down out of the plop, and you can see the difference in how the curls really start to form as opposed to when I normally like wrap my hair up and it gets all kind of stretched out. So now I'm just going to apply a leave-in conditioner. I don't want to really use any stylers. Sometimes just let your hair air dry product free, especially if you've been struggling with something with your hair or you just don't know what's wrong with it. This is a good time to just let it be and let it kind of breathe, and then you can just assess your hair, and you can really see how your hair is when your hair has no product in it, because products are great to actually mask, I guess, any damage, or they also create shine, or they create more curl definition. But if you just leave your hair as is, like without any styling products, and you can really see like where there might be some damaged areas, or if you have split ends, you can definitely usually see those without product in your hair. So I'm just sort of smoothing this in. I know I mentioned the curls were starting to form, but I don't want to have these tangles right here, so I am going to comb it through a little bit with my hands, and then I'll just scrunch. And a lot of times when I do this, I will style the next day. So sometimes I will just go product free for like a day or just overnight, and then I will wet my hair and style it the next day. That's called the wash now and style later method. I've actually done a routine on it. I can link for you down below if you want to see how I do that. So I do just add a little bit of water if any areas look very frizzy, to help that leave-in conditioner absorb and then help the curls clump. Sometimes I don't style at all, and I will just let it completely air dry without touching it, but I do have to be on some video calls today, so I want it to look decent. The frizz won't be that noticeable, luckily, on camera, but I am sort of detangling it at least and trying to sort of style it without any styling products, if that makes sense. I'm not going to do any brush styling or anything. I'm just trying to fix my part so it's not so flat against my head. So you might be thinking, you know, if I use a leave-in conditioner, I'm not really going product free, but I don't want my hair to look dry, as I mentioned, and a leave-in conditioner doesn't really style your hair. Some people ask me sometimes, like, what's the difference between a leave-in and a curl cream? A leave-in only provides moisture, and it can add a little bit of shine and just more slip and manageability, but it doesn't do anything to change the appearance of your hair other than providing moisture, which in turn could reduce frizz. But there's no styling agents in the leave-in conditioner, so it's not going to do anything for like curl definition. I mean, it can help with clumps, but it's not really designed to style your hair. It's not going to provide any hold. There's no hold at all in a leave-in conditioner. So I'm just finger coiling these pieces because they will dry wonky. So this step is really key to this product-free routine. I'm just going to take my hair towel and then scrunch out the excess water. And this is really going to define the curls. Since we don't have any styling products, we need a little bit of help. And this is also going to speed up on the dry time. I've definitely noticed a difference when I go product free, when I at least try and make it look good like this, as opposed to just air drying and not touching it at all. It definitely looks pretty rough, so I feel like I'm able to withstand not having product in it for at least a day or two if I at least do a little bit of, I guess you could call it styling a little bit, but I find that if you have a little bit of definition and some clumps, it reduces the frizz as opposed to no clumps at all, and then the frizz just goes every which way. All right, so here's how it looks without product. I'm also making sure to scrunch right at the root, which is really gonna help absorb that excess water that likes to sit on the scalp. So now I'm just gonna let this air dry. I might actually diffuse for just a few minutes on low heat, just because I need to speed up this dry time. Okay, so I feel like that's good enough to where I can just let it finish air drying and at least I won't look too crazy. So I wanted to show you a little trick if you get any of these really frizzy pieces. I will take a little bit of leave-in conditioner once my hair is starting to dry like this, mix it with some water, and then just smooth over that area. And then you can kind of scrunch it. And I find that whenever you apply a cream or a leave-in over hair that's almost starting to dry, it doesn't really add any hold, but it almost sort of smooths that frizz down and adds a little bit of weight, I guess you would say, which kind of tames the frizz. But I do notice a little bit of difference, and it's just adding like an extra layer of moisture to those areas that do lose moisture very quickly, which is why I did use a leave-in conditioner, because I know that my hair leans more high porosity, so it's going to dry out very easily, especially without styling products in. Products really help to hold in the moisture, so without products, your hair can dry out a lot quicker. So you can already see the difference. Yeah, they are a little bit damp, but it's not quite as frizzy and dry looking as before. So I obviously have a ton of frizz, which is expected without styling products, but the point of this is just to give your hair a break, allow your hair to just air dry product free. That way you can really kind of assess if you might have any damage or if you might still have some buildup in some areas. This really gets you a good look at your hair and just gives it a break from being manipulated. It's not the best on our hair, all of the brush styling, the scrunch diffusing, all of the things we do to sort of manipulate our curls, which can cause damage to our hair, especially if our hair is already damaged. So it's good to just give it a break every once in a while. This deep conditioner is protein free. If I wanted to use a leave-in conditioner with protein, that could add some strength to my hair. But usually if I'm doing this type of reset, I don't usually do any protein unless if I feel like my hair does really need it. If your hair is damaged, you definitely might want to incorporate some protein in your styling products. If you are struggling with protein overload, then this is definitely a good opportunity to do this reset routine. That way you can clarify to remove that protein buildup and then use no protein in your mask or in your leave-in and just let your hair be for a little while and give it a break so it can recover. So final thoughts on the Q-Redew Steamer. I definitely think this is a great addition to your wash day routine. If you guys are interested in checking it out, I will have it linked down below along with all the other products that I used in this video, but it was really nice to just have something to really help that deep conditioner soak in. I feel like it did make a difference in my curls. Also, if you have coarse hair like I do in some areas, those areas can be super just like brittle feeling and unmanageable, and I feel like this definitely helped to soften those areas and help them feel more manageable and easier to detangle and even to style. So if you all want to see me test out the hair steamer device in a refresh routine, definitely let me know in the comments down below, because I've been wanting to try out steaming my hair for refreshing. I just didn't have a device to do it with. So I love that this one is easy to use, it's handheld, and it's great because it's actually designed to be using with your hair, so you know that you won't be damaging your hair with heat or anything like that. So if you want me to do a refresh routine using steam, definitely leave that in the comments down below, and that way I know to film that video next for you all. So if you didn't already see the video that I did all about hard water, then you'll definitely want to check that out, because sometimes it's hard water buildup on your hair that's causing it to act up or causing that buildup that you can't just seem to get rid of. And sometimes it can also be mistaken for protein overload. So if you've tried all the things and you cannot get your curls to snap back, it's most likely from mineral buildup from hard water. So if you haven't yet already seen that video, I will put it linked here on the screen, and I will talk to you over there. Bye everyone.